Good morning, students. Welcome to offline classes for 9th standard. So we are discussing the chapter called Structure of the Atom. So in previous class we have discussed what uh, different scientists has prepared their own way of the structure of an atom. So yesterday we have discussed about Rutherford's atomic model. We have discussed how it is and what kind of experiment he has been found conducted. That we have discussed. And even before that we have discussed about Thomson's model of structure. Model of an atom we have discussed. And so then if you go to the next topic of the chapter, that is Rutherford's model of structure of an atom, how he has explained, and conclusion of that we will discuss now. That is, so conclusions from the Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. Yesterday we have discussed what the last class we have discussed what how there is a alpha particles which are moving on a gold foil. So what happens here? Most of the alpha particles they pass on to the gold foil, and few alpha particles they are rebounded, and some they are deflected towards a particular angle. So this is what observation we have observed during the experiment of Rutherford's structure of atomic model. But here, if you go to this conclusion after that, what is that? The most of the space inside an atom is empty. So here, when we observe the experiment of Rutherford, most of the space inside an atom is empty because most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. So we have observed. So most of the alpha particles they pass through the gold foil. But what happens here? Because of this reason, what happens? Most of the space inside the atom is empty. Next, because of that reason, because of huge amount of space, because of more amount of space, so that what happens? The alpha particles are passed through the straight line along with gold foil. The next one, the atom had a small nucleus having positive charge. So inside, some particles they are rebounded back. So why? Because at the center of an atom, there is a small space. They exhibit what we call that is the nucleus, and that nucleus is having some positive charge. And because some of the alpha particles having positive charge were slightly deflected by the small angles. So we have seen that some alpha particles they are deflected to the particular angles. Why? Because due to water there is a positive charged particle, something is present in the nucleus, that is positive charge. And the next one, the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. So if you see that the nucleus size is smaller than the atom size, because very few alpha particles appear to rebound, and most of the positive charge and mass of the atom is in the nucleus. Because most of the alpha particles, what happens? They have been passed in a straight line, but only few alpha particles they are rebounding from the center. So why? Because the size of the nucleus is very small when compared with the size of the atom. So finally, what he has proposed some possible postulates. What is that? The first one, an atom has positively charged nucleus at its center, and most of the mass of the atom is in the nucleus. So finally, after this experiment, he has proposed some postulates. So here, according to his postulate, the first one, what he said, an atom having in the center of the atom consisting of what? A nucleus. In nucleus, it is the most of the mass of the atom. It is present in the nucleus of an atom. This is what first the postulate of Rutherford's model of an atom. The next one, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. So what happens there? Already we have discussed what atom is made up of. What atom is consisting of three subparticles. They are electrons, neutrons, and protons. Whereas electrons are having negatively charged, where protons are positively charged, and neutrons don't have any kind of charges. So here the center of the atom consisting of nucleus. A nucleus is consisting of a positive charge. Why? Because positive charge, because protons are present inside the nucleus, and whereas electrons which are rotating around the nucleus in a different orbits. This is what second postulate of what Rutherford's model of atom. Third one, the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. So this is what third postulate of the Rutherford's model of atom. But here Rutherford's this model of an atom has some defects. What is the defects? If you go to that, the next the defects of Rutherford's model of an atom. What is the defects that Rutherford's model of an atom having? So what he said, so there is a negatively charged particles called electrons which are rotating around the nucleus in a different orbitals. What he said, second postulate. But when it is continuously rotating, these electrons when they are continuously rotating, they will get the accelerate. They undergo what? Acceleration. So those particles undergo what? Acceleration. So when they are continuously rotating, what happens? So they lose electrons. They would lose the energy. So when they continuously rotating, what they lose energy. When they lose energy, they fall into the nucleus. So here, so they are continuously rotating continuously. What happens? So in some way, they lose us the energy. When they lose energy, they may fall on the, this is plus one with this is the nucleus. They may fall on the nucleus. When they fall on the nucleus, what happens? The atom would be unstable. So we know that atoms are always stable. So atoms are always stable. But in case if the electrons lose their energy, they may fall on the nucleus, and when they fall on the nucleus, what happens? The atom going to be unstable. So this is what one of the defect of the Rutherford's model of the atom. Okay, the next scientist is what? Bohr. So Bohr is also proposed his own way of what? Atomic model. What is according to him? What is the model will see? So here I am given he has given some statements in his model of an atom. What is that? First one, an atom has positively charged nucleus at its center, and most of the mass of the atom is in the nucleus. The same what Rutherford has given a statement, again the Bohr is also given the same statement. What is that? The atom has positively charged nucleus at the center. So here at the atom which is having, so this is interesting. This is one atom. If you see that, this is what the nucleus, because it is in the center, and this is what which is positively charged, and the most of the mass of the atom which is what of the atom is in the nucleus. The most of the mass of the atom is in the nucleus instead. So second one, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a special orbits called discrete orbits. So here what you said, so Rutherford is what he said, the electrons which are rotating around or revolve around the nucleus in a different orbits, he said. But here what he said, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a special orbits, and he called them discrete orbits, what he said. And even he has given name for those orbits. See here. So and these orbits are all called as shells or energy levels, and are represented by the letters called K, L, M, N, etc. or the number as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Here what Rutherford has stated what? Rutherford stated what? The electrons which is revolve around the nucleus in a different orbits, he said. But what he Bohr what he said, yes, electrons which are rotating around the nucleus, what in a definite or in a particular or in a special orbits, and those called what he called a discrete orbits, and even he named them what, and even he has named for one particular word letters called K, L, M, and N, and even this is also called what? Energy levels, or we should also he called what? Energy shells. So he named what? K, L, M, N, and also we can name as what? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next one, while revolving in the discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. So when they are rotating here, for example, this is one orbit, this is second orbit, and this is third orbit, and this is fourth orbit. So electrons which is rotating, the one electron if they are rotating around the one electron, it won't. So its energy is what? Less. So where sorry, the energy what more, and here compared to less, and here less, and here less. But so they will rotate in their particular shell, but when they are rotating in that particular shell, what happen? They won't radiate. They do not radiate. Means what? They won't lose their energy. So this is what the Bohr's atomic model. So this is the Bohr's atomic model is most acceptable model of an atom. So if you go to the next that is the distribution of electrons in different cells. So then he said what? The electrons they are rotating around the nucleus in a definite orbit, and he called them what? Shells or energy levels. Then how can we differ? How can we distribute the electrons into different shells? Let us discuss now. The distribution of electrons in the different shell was suggested by Bohr and Bury. The following are the rules for the filling electrons in the different shells. So here what Bohr said was the electrons which are rotating around the nucleus, but in a definite shells or definite orbitals. But how many electrons are rotating in that particular shell? How many electrons are rotating in that particular orbit? How can we able to differ? How can we able to distribute them? So there is a rules are there to you have to follow the rules by filling the electrons into different orbits. How can we do it? So first one, the maximum number of electrons in a shell is given by the formula called 2n square. So how can we able to find the maximum number of electrons are present in each shell? So if you want to find that, we have to use a small formula called what? 2n square. So this 2n square which gives us what? How many number of electrons are present in each shell. So where n is the number of shell. Number of the shell, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and etc. like this. So n indicates what? A shell number. N indicates what? A shell number. The first shell or K shell and can have 2n square. Though already we know that. So K shell number is what? 1. So n is indicates what? A shell number. So 2 into 1 square. What happens? 2 into 1 and what happens? 1. So how in K shell how many number of electrons are present? 2 electrons are present. If you want to find the second called L, the same we can go applying by the formula called 2n square. The L shell number is what? 2. 2 square is what? 4. 4 2 are 8. There are how many electrons are there? In second shell there are 8 electrons are there. If you go to the same way M shell consisting of what? The shell number is what? 3. 3 square is what? 9. 9 into 2 is what? 18. The same way fourth one. 4 square is what? 16. 16 2 are 32 like this. So each shell having the maximum number of electrons called the first shell consisting of 2 electrons, whereas second 18 and third consisting of 18 and 32. How can we find these maximum number of electrons? By using the simple formula called 2n square, where n indicates what? A shell number. Then the third one, the maximum number of electrons that can be filled in the outermost shell is 8. So here this is very important. The maximum number of electrons that can be filled in the outermost shell is called 8. Maximum how many number of can able to fill each orbital? That is 8. The electrons cannot be filled in a shell unless the inner shells are filled. This is very important. Electrons cannot be filled in a shell unless the inner shells are filled. So these are the postulates given by the Bohr's atomic model. If you go to the how the electrons are distributed in each atom, we will discuss. The first one, the name of the atom. So composition of atoms in first 18 elements. How electrons are distributed in each shell? Let us see that. The first element called hydrogen. Symbol is H. Atomic number is what? 1. The number of protons is 1. And the number of neutrons is 0 and number of electrons is 1. So how many electrons are present in one? K shell is 1. Same way helium 2 and here lithium 2 1, because the K shell can maximum number of electrons can be able to accommodate what? 2 number. So more than next here 3 is there. The third one will go to the next shell. The same way here 2 2 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, and it come here 8. So here L can maximum number of electrons. How many number of electrons can able to accommodate? 8. So here how many are there? If you go to the magnesium, it is having sodium. This is what sodium. It contains what 11. So 2 K shell can accommodate 2, and remaining you will go to the L. L can maximum number of electrons it can accommodate what 8. So here one more electron is there. That one more electron will go to the next shell. So like this we can able to distribute the electrons into different shell according to Bohr's atomic model. So if you see that this is how we can the atomic structure. So that is how many number of electrons it has been accommodated in each shell we have discussed. Now the structure of atom we will see here. The hydrogen structure is like this, whereas lithium structure is like this. So this dot indicates what number of electrons. So this is what beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine and argon. These are the elements, and these are the atomic structure of different elements. So this is about the Bohr's atomic model. Okay. In the next class we will discuss about more about this chapter. Thank you.